What's up, everybody? I'm going to give you my 5 best marketing tips to help you grow your local business. Now, these aren't going to be very usual marketing tips about Facebook ads, about Instagram. Some are tactical, but some are just mindset tips. So stay tuned and let's get into this video. Hey guys, what's up, everybody? I'm Bruce, host of the Local Business Podcast. We also host the Smart Pizza Marketing Podcast, but we do these videos to help you think about marketing differently. It's not necessarily to tell you exactly what works, although we do have some of those, but we bring on marketing experts, we do interviews to help you think of how you market your business in a little bit of a different way. So on today's video, I'm gonna share 5 tips on how you can get better, or what I would do to market if I was a local business owner at this current state of time. So here's tip number 1. Show the F up. And I know I don't normally swear on these podcasts, but I felt like this needed to be a little bit dramatic, right? You got to show the F up. A lot of times people go and market their business and they're looking for the next tactic or they're looking for the next secret, which there are no secrets. It's called work. They'll use Instagram for a week or two, and then they'll take a week or two off. They'll use Facebook ads, and then they'll take a month off. They'll post something, but then they'll disappear. You've got to show up on a consistent basis, so that way, whenever you're marketing about your business, the people who you're marketing to know that you're going to be around for the long haul. So tip number 1, just show the F up consistently. Tip number 2, Google is your friend. I was recently talking to somebody who was marketing for a local business, and they were working at Google, and they said, listen, Google knows about Yelp, knows about TripAdvisor, but Google owns the search engine traffic, and they want you to update your Google business listing. As annoying as it is to get reviews on Google and to have always be monitoring your Google business listing and to update your menu and your hours, it's very important to the search engine SEO of your business to make sure that your Google business listing is updated. If you're going to ask for reviews, instead of asking for people to review on Facebook or on Yelp or TripAdvisor, ask them to review you on Google, especially if you're a business that people travel to your area and they don't necessarily live in your area. That's going to be super important for you. One tip I can give you is update often your Google business listing. Add a photo, add an update every single week. Make sure your hours of operation are correct, especially the time we're in now. It could be ever-changing hours on a daily or weekly basis. Make sure if you have a menu, it's updated. Make sure that you're responding to the reviews that people leave on your Google business listing. And I know that it's not, and I know that it's hard. Trust me, I'm a business owner as well. It's hard to spend time responding to every single review. But in the beginning, you're not going to have that many. And as your reviews grow, you don't have to respond to every single one, but make sure at least you're responding to the negative ones. If I'm a customer and I go look you up and I see that the owner is responding to those negative reviews, I'm much more likely to visit that business than if I see that there's a lot of negative reviews and their owner isn't anywhere to be found. It makes me think, like, maybe if they don't care about responding to negative views in the public, what goes on behind the scenes? So if you are going to spend some time, maybe you don't have the time to respond to every single review, at least spend some time responding to the negative ones for sure. Tip number 3, and this is going to be an unconventional one. Start a show. Now, if you're listening to this on the audio version, you've been listening to our podcast for a long time. We get a lot of people who we've met and networked with that discovered us from the podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube, this is probably one of our first videos, so it's relatively new to you. But the reason we do these videos is to get exposure and to build our network. And if you are a local business owner, regardless of what business you're in, there are people in your community or in your industry who you could talk to become 2 things: the authority figure in that space and the go-to resource in your area for that information. There's somebody in our mastermind group who started a show. They're a local pizzeria owner in California. They started a show, and what they do is they go on Facebook Live and they interview other businesses in that area. And it does a couple of things for them. It gets people to come back to their Facebook page on a regular basis to watch the show and get some information about what's happening in their community. And it also exposes them to the other businesses' audience. Because what happens is she'll have them come on the show, she'll talk to them, it'll be about a 10 or 15 minute show. But what happens is that other business shares that show with their audience. So her business gets exposure in return for them being a guest on the show. So it does 2 things for them. It gets them exposure, it builds their network, and it gets them in front of a new audience that maybe they wouldn't have gotten in front of if they didn't do that show. Now, it's not as complicated as you may think. Starting a podcast, starting a YouTube show like this, starting a Facebook Live or an Instagram Live. Don't overthink it. Just get started. You will get better. I promise you, you will get better as you go over time. But you gotta start. If you don't start, there's no possibility of you improving. And if you need some help on starting a YouTube show or starting a podcast, check the links below this. There'll be a link for hop on our calendar and maybe we can help you out. Tip number 4, this is a tactical one. If you do start a show or you do create content, create video content, and then run Facebook advertising to anybody who has interacted with that content. If I was a local business owner right now, I'm not a local business owner. I am a business owner. And what we do is we create videos like this, we put them on social media, and then we retarget the people who have watched that video with either an ad for our mastermind group, an ad to get on the phone with us, or if we have a product or a course we're selling, or we have an affiliate link with a product we think would be useful to you. That's what we use our advertising dollars on. We spend a little money to push that message in front of the proper audience. Hopefully that's you. And then if you engage with that, you watch a video, you watch a certain percentage of that video, you click on a link, you like, you comment. Any engagement that we get from that content, we then retarget those people using Facebook advertising for Instagram and Facebook to get them to do something that we want to do it. Now, we're not always running retargeting ads because we don't often sell things on a constant basis. But when we do have something, we are building up that audience in the background on Facebook and Instagram for when we do have that product to sell, we can then start the retargeting ads on Facebook. Number 5, and this is the most important. Stop overthinking it. I was in a meeting with somebody who's in my area who has 13 locations, local business, and we were talking about marketing in this meeting. And the whole meeting was about them making sure the lighting was right, the color was right, the font was right. They were doing so much dwelling and so much pondering that they never actually posted anything. You got to stop overthinking the content that you produce. You are not the judge of whether that content is good or not. It's the customer or the audience on the other side. So in order for them to understand if it's good content or not, the business owner, you have to put out content and let the audience decide. The more content you put out, the more information you will have on whether it's good or bad. The less content, the less information. So this company was putting out so little content, they didn't really have any data to understand if it was working or not. You got to put out a lot of content. Social media moves fast. You got to put out video every day, a photo every day, a post every single day, and understand then what the audience wants to see more of, and only then. So stop dwelling, post more, dwell less. All right, if this video was helpful, hit that like button. Let me know in the comments below if you found this video valuable. Also, check out the links below to our podcast, the Smart Pizza Marketing Podcast, and the Local Business Podcast. And if I can help you in any way, hop on my calendar. We can have a 15-minute chat and see if there's any way for us to help you out. See ya.